What's a time in your professional career you've had to go through a struggle and you came
Mm.
out the other end? Can you share a story? I'm
Yeah,
sure you
sure.
have. I know you got 'em.
Switching from engineering to sales.
That that's a struggle for so many humans.
You know, like, uh, yes. Um,
How'd you do it?
so I was at a facility in Burbank called Match Frame Video, um, and we had just finished a developing a product for them called Match Frame on Demand, um, which was kind of, I guess, the precursor to Software Media Composer. It was by no means a functioning editing system, but you could build
Okay.
string outs with it. It was able to read Avid media, and it could pass media back.
Okay.
Um, and I caught our sales guys at the time giving it away as a loss leader to book shows for offline and for finish within the facility.
Okay.
And passionate engineering me was not having any of that. I walked into one of their sales meetings, I expressed my displeasure in, the colorful way that 20-something-year-old me would. Um, and one of them hopped up and said, "You just don't understand how sales works." And I looked over at him and said, "I'm pretty sure they can teach me instantly how to sell the things for more money than they cost. You, sir, will never understand how it works the way that I do." And I quit. And I
Sounds
went
like
to, yeah,
20-year-old you.
I went to the local reseller that was selling Avid technology. Um, they knew who I was because I was a good engineer in the territory. They said, "We're going to give you a chance." I told them the engineer salary that I wanted. They laughed at me openly and said, "This is what a salesman gets that has no book." Right. And it
Yeah.
was significantly less. And it was like, uh-oh, have I messed up?
But you got a lot on commissions. Was the
It was
promise,
a
right?
good commission base, but low salary. Right. Uh, Thankfully, that very week, um, uh, a, the owner of a company called QSR Systems uh, had called me and wanted to recruit me to become his chief technology officer.
Uh-huh.
I told him I couldn't because I had just taken the sales job and I couldn't walk out on a sales job. And he asked me what I'd be selling. And I told him, you know, general post production technology and Avid technology, right?
Yeah.
Editing systems. He said, "Oh, I'll be your best customer, Doug." I had known Rob for years before that. He had subrented gear to Match Frame and other facilities we'd been at. What I didn't know was that QSR was about to go into like a growing spurt and become one of the larger rental houses in Southern California. So,
Oh, okay.
Rob started putting in monthly orders for $500 to $600,000.
And that was your first client.
And that was my first
Oh,
client.
you were.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like, they put in a sales bell for me, like a big
So you had a book with you. I don't even know you had a
yeah,
book.
exactly, right. And then come to find out, being that engineer that really knew about the product and was passionate about the product, that had gone out and serviced all these companies and had contacts at all these companies. I didn't know that, of course, because I had never approached it from a sales perspective. But yeah, I just started calling all the people I knew and said, "Hey, I'm at this company now, and you can buy it from me." And then kind of my extra add-on was, I would come out and integrate the stuff that I sold to you, right?
That's a good
Like,
added value. Yeah.
not always popular with my sales managers or the owners of the dealerships, right? Like, where I'd get asked occasionally, like, "I noticed you don't have very much pro service attachment to your sales." Right?
Okay.
Like, you seem to only box push. Do they have techs there? Who's putting it together? I don't know. I was. I'd go, and instead of doing a sales lunch with them,
Yeah.
I'd go hang out. Um, and I'd put their stuff together because it was fun. Because it kept me current, right?
But it allowed you to still be you.
Yeah, I got to go play with the toys that got me into doing this in the first place.
What'd you
Like
have to change about you and the way you talked when you did sales?
nothing, like literally nothing. It was still the same, you know.
So it was a lighter struggle for you.
Oh, it was fun. The conversion for me, like,
Okay.
I I I I genuinely enjoyed it. right? Like it still baffles me today. Like I think engineers would make really good salespeople because I presume they all have,
Well, they know the product.
yeah, exactly, right? They all have this in-depth product knowledge. They're going to inherently deliver a product that works because they don't want to have to go fix it. Um, but yeah, boy, like I've yet to find another one that wants to convert.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they are hard to find because it's not just sale, it's being an extrovert. Most engineers are introverts
yeah,
by
yeah.
nature, right?
And even sales engineers, they don't want to be salesmen, right?
What do
Like
you
they
mean?
like to. So a sales engineer, you'll send an engineer out that's sales oriented with your salesperson that's not technical,
Okay.
and they can make sure that that salesperson's um, talking about the things that the product can do,
As opposed to
and
what oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
right.
I got you.
And they can help along with demos and things like that, right? So it's like that was the thing that they liked about me in the resellers in the channel is, oh, we don't have to send Doug out with extra resources,
Oh, so
right?
they were saving money
Yes,
and you were making them money.
correct.
Damn, you were pretty valuable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then, from there you move into management, right? Where it was like I can't I left the channel, came and sold for QSR for a number of years, and then um, it was time for a changing of the guard, and um, I took the
But
corner.
you had to learn sales
Oh,
in
100%.
order because the CEO is the first salesperson,
100%.
right?
Like it has to be your top grossing sales guy.
Yeah.
Like really should be. Otherwise, um, yeah, that could be a problem. But yeah, I mean, and point sales, product sales, like at a reseller, totally different market than a rental sales,
Yes.
right? Like very different skill set. Like I remember like my first month at QSR, um, I'd just come out of an active reseller pipeline,
Okay.
right? So I'm hitting my contact list and hunting for shows that are coming up to rent to, but all the while I still had my existing client base calling saying, "Hey, I want to buy this. I want to buy that." And it's like, you just started pointing them to salespeople you had worked with before that you thought would do a good job for them. But inevitably big enough opportunities would come up where it's like I'd walk down from my office down to Rob's office and like, "Hey, I found this opportunity. This is a six-figure opportunity. I'd like not to pass up on that." And he's like, "Oh, okay, tell me about the rental." And it's like, "No, it's a sale." And it's like, "Doug, you're not here to find sales. Go back to your office, send it to someone else, and go find a rental." I was just like, oh, for like 3 months, I didn't get a rental. That was probably my hardest time in sales. Was finding my first rental
Damn. So yeah, rental sales or sales
versus
in
rentals. Yeah.
rentals. Yeah, that is.
Oh, it's dramatically
So
different.
that was a struggle too.
Sure.
Especially once you found your groove and you did build a book. So how much of your book was valid at that point? Or did you have to create
Mm,
a whole new one?
you kind of have to start over.
Damn. How was that starting over?
Um, it was fun. It was challenging. Um, you know, I shouldn't say it's completely starting over. There was some crossover, but it didn't happen immediately,
How
right?
long?
3 months, right? Like
3 months. Oh,
the
okay.
the first rental actually was a transplant where someone that had been at a company that purchased from me for years had moved into a position where the company he had moved to now rents, and they were with
Oh,
a competitive rental house, and it was that's one of the most common times where a rental client moves, is a new decision maker comes into the production company and their relationship is with a different provider.
that's how we got our gigs as an agency back in especially when it was network related.
Yep.
It somebody moved, we were moving with them.
Yep. So
Or if somebody moved
it
and
took
somebody
about
new came
90
in.
days for that to start happening,
Yeah, yeah.
and for me to understand that that was a path,
Yeah.
right? Because that really wasn't in sales. In point sales, what I found, or in channel sales, one of, well, there's a lot of tricks, but one of uh, the best things was just to understand the market, right? Like if you understood what 14 parts it took to build an Avid or an editing system
Mm-hmm.
at that time, and you could convince your controller and um, reseller management team that these are the 14 parts we should most certainly keep in stock, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we should look at buying in bulk to get discount. Yeah. Now it takes them time to build that trust in you, right? Because they're not
Yeah.
inexpensive pieces, and there's a cost to having things on
So
the
Rob
shelf.
really likes you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We did good. Like it was. There just wasn't anyone like me in the market, right? The only other sales engineer or engineer that went into sales, I can't say his name and I won't sell the client's name, but like I ended up taking over his accounts and I did well in his accounts. And one of the customers recounted a story for me months after taking over the account where he said the previous salesperson, I asked him, I need a monitor for my offline fleet. I have 25 of these systems. Bring me down the monitor, or what monitor should I get? And this salesperson decided I'm going to bring down the Marshall monitor that I think's good, and the JVC monitor that I think's good, and the Sony monitor that I think is good. And I'm going to play a bunch of video through them, and I'm going to get a bunch of opinions from you. Well, like you said, you got to listen to the client. The client asked the salesperson, what monitor should I get? Because he's
They just
coming
wanted
to
to
you
know.
because you're a technical salesperson,
Yep.
right? He said, Doug, when you took over the account, that was one of the first questions that I asked you, and you didn't miss a beat. And you said, I like the JVC because the Sony does this and the Marshall does that, and there's perception when you walk in the bay. And I gave the reasons that I like it, and he bought 25 of the JVCs for me that week. And later on in the relationship, he said, yeah, that's what I loved about you from the beginning was you knew about the product. You had opinions. You would tell me what your opinions were and why you were picking it. And if I disagreed and wanted to go a different direction, you were okay with that too. But yeah, I mean, it's it's being educated. It's like one of the most important things in support that they taught us early on was look, you're going to need to be able to walk in and exert your authority into a room of highly skilled professionals,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, oh, okay. So you have to walk the walk walking in, you have to be knowledgeable, and then you have to be right? Most of the time, or willing to work to find the right solution, right? Or collaborate. That's the word. But yeah, that kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Right. All right, I thought that was a little bit of a tangent. I don't
No,
know.
no, it
All
was
right.
good stuff, man.